Good morning, boys and girls. How are you? It's Miss Lisa, your art teacher. Welcome back to my table of art. Well, today is all about tessellations, and your teacher probably just showed you a short video all about tessellations. Well, there's an artist that's very famous for work that he did concerning tessellations, which is basically a shape that repeats over and over to create a pattern. His name is Escher. He kind of does work that plays tricks on your eyes. He's really very famous. I have some images I'd like to share with you. These are some of his tessellations. Do you see how this image starts out as birds flying in the sky? And then as you go down to the bottom of the image, it now becomes a fish, where this fish was all along within the image. If you look at the white area, which on the top we consider the negative area, there is actually an image of a fish, but you don't see it because the bird, which is the positive image here, is highlighted with details, and the negative area is just the shape. But as you go down, he reverses it, and he gets rid of the details in the bird and creates the details and textures within the fish. So now the fish has become the positive space and the bird has become the negative space, but it's still the same pattern. They're tiles that he used over and over. He would trace the shape over and over and arrange it in a shape of its own, where here you see it's like a square tilted. This is one of M.C. Escher's famous tessellations. I have another one. This, by the way, there's different types of tessellations. This is the one we're going to do today, and it's called the translation. And you may have seen that in the video. There's three types. This is another one of M.C. Escher's tessellations. I think you'll like this. It's lizards. Can you see the lizards? Notice how they change direction. Do you know why they're changing direction? Because that's another type of tessellation that he's done. It's called the rotation style. Okay? So how about we get started creating our own tessellation? As you know, I've sent home or to school each of you to receive 2 of these squares. I need to size mine because yours are 4 by 4. I need to cut mine down to a 4 by 4. I have not done that yet, so I want to do that right now. So if you give me a minute, I'm going to make mine a 4 by 4 square, just like yours. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So give me 2 seconds. I don't know how I've missed this. I hope you enjoyed that short video. It was not too long, so you couldn't get bored, but it was pretty interesting, right? Gave you an idea all about tessellation, how it covers a plane. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, now we have what you had. 4 by 4 white square. I'll put it against my black shirt so you can see it better. Okay, what you're going to do is you're just going to create a line down the middle. You remember we discussed lines? We have zigzag lines, we have curvy lines, we have diagonal lines, we have vertical lines, we have horizontal lines. If it's going from the top to the bottom, do you remember what kind of line that is? Top to bottom. That is our vertical line. But your vertical line is going to have some form of a shape. Is it going to be curvy? Are you going to make it zigzag? We can't do looping lines because we need to just cut out the shape of the line. So I'm going to make a curvy line. So I'm going to take my marker, or if you could take a pencil or anything you want, and create your line. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to create a line. Now remember, you need to cut this out, so don't make it too difficult. Don't make it too thin where it curves. This is your choice, but just keep in mind that you need to cut that line. I'm going to take my scissor now, I'm going to follow my line. This is very important that you just make one continuous cut. Don't remove the scissor. Follow your line. Now, I missed my line a little bit, and that's okay. I'm getting a general shape, and that's good. And you'll see how I did it. Not perfect. Sometimes not being perfect is better. Okay, so now we made our line, and then I cut along the line. You can see how I missed spots, but that's okay. I still have two pieces. Now, what you're going to do, don't turn it around, don't move it around, keep it exactly this way, and pass through the first piece. Now the two straight edges are back to back. Whoops, I dropped mine. So in order not to make a mistake, I'm going to start all over. Here's my piece. I'm going to continue right across, and I'm going to tape this in place, and I've now created a tile for which I am going to create a pattern. This is going to be the translation style of tessellation, covering a plane, creating a pattern. All right, so I'm going to tape this in place, and in order for you to see it, I'm going to bring my camera down, but I'm going to take a piece of construction paper so you could see it, because otherwise it's going to be white on white. Hang on. Okay, so here's my shape, and I'm going to tape that in place. Okay, and I'd like you to do the same. Tape it in place. If you could get somebody to hold it for you. And turn it over and do it again to make sure it stays, okay? Because we don't want this coming apart. There we go. We have our shape. Now, I sent home instructions or a materials list, and I said to get a big 12 by 18 piece of paper. I think this might be too big. So if you want, you could either fold it in half and only work on one side, or just get a smaller piece of white construction paper. And this is how we're going to start. You all should have a nice sharpened pencil. I don't, so I'm going to sharpen mine, so sorry about the noise. A little bit more, it's not too pointy. There we go. And I'm going to take my shape, and I'm going to start off, I'm going to put half of it off of the paper. I'm going to use my cutting line as a guide, and I'm going to line it up with the top of my paper and the side where the cut mark is. And I'm going to trace the piece that is on the paper now. Try to hold it in place. And I'm sure you're going to make mistakes. The paper's going to move. Look, I just made a mistake right there. So I'll just fix my trace. So now if I lift this up, all you see is the outline of this half. I'm going to keep it in this position, and I'm just going to push it forward. And now this side lines up with that side because it's the same cut. And I'm going to trace it again, keeping this level up here lined up with the top of my paper. And now I'm going to trace the entire piece because now the whole piece is on the paper. Very good. Now I'm just going to push it forward like a train, a moving train. See the outline I just created? Now I'm going to put that right in like a puzzle piece. And look, I only have a tiny bit left, but I'm going to trace it. Okay, see that? Now when we go down to the next row, I want to reposition this so it's right about in the middle of the top one. This will make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so I'm going to trace starting at the bottom. Oh, I have a couple of pieces hanging over here, so you have to get all of it. Whatever is showing on the white paper, we need to trace. Okay, look at that. And as I'm looking, look at that, there we go. And I'm going to move it like a train. See this tiny piece that was sticking out? You have to trace that. There we go. Trace the bottom. There's another one. How's that? Moving it like a train. You know, as I'm looking at this now, I'm saying, you know what? This size is really big. This tile that we created. I think it's fine for you to use the entire 12 by 18 paper. You don't need to use this small paper. But if you want to start with just this, that's fine. All right, now, here are my tiles. I created a pattern. Now, the next thing that I would like you to do is I would like you to choose your colors. Now, I'm going to bring this back up. When you choose your colors, I want you to decide, do you want to use warm colors or do you want to use cool colors? Let's look at the color wheel again. This side of the color wheel are what kind of colors? We've got yellow, orange, and red. Remember, what makes us warm? What makes us think about warmth? If you're outside and there's this big thing shining down on us on a really beautiful day, what do you think it is? Did you say the sun? You're right. The warm sun is beating down on us, and the colors that you may find in the sun are yellow, orange, and red. So that's an easy way to remember our warm colors. On the other side of our color wheel, we have what we call our cool colors. When you look at ice or snow, when the light is reflecting on it, it sometimes appears to be blue. So we think of the cool colors, blue, purple, and green. So now I would like for you to choose which you would like to make your image colored in, warm or cool colors. If you decide on the warm colors, orange, red, and yellow, I would like you to switch the colors to create a pattern. If you want to use two colors, maybe it's red, yellow, yellow. Below it, you have to decide, will you pick yellow or red, and continue your pattern. Now, I should have continued this pattern right below because I do have space left here. So let's bring the camera down and let's continue. So first I need to line up my tile to make sure it's correct. All right, so now we're going to start up here. And let's see. Okay, that's the reverse. Did I do this wrong? Hold on. I've got to get everybody lined up. Here we go. Okay, this is the proper way. So now I want to start about the midway. So I'm bringing this down. I'm going to line it, the top of it up with the line I created. It's only a teeny tiny little piece to trace, but we still have to do that. You see? See that? Now I'm going to bring this tile right across, line this up with that line here, keeping it on the straight line that we have left, and I'll trace just this little piece. Now we slide it across, and I just have one little piece left to trace. There we go. Okay, it's only a tiny piece, but you know what? That's part of our image, okay? So now red, yellow. Do I want to put red down here or yellow? That's your decision. But then don't forget this little tiny piece as well. All right? So whichever you choose, whether it's a warm color or a cool color, color these in. Color in your pattern with what you created with your tile. If you only used half of it and you folded it in half, trace again and use cool colors on this side. If you decided you wanted to make it all on this paper, if you did it landscape style, your tiles will be going in this direction instead of up and down, which is vertical. This is all up to you. This is what we call your artistic decisions, all right? But I'm going to use, I don't know, maybe I'll use the cool colors. So I'm going to grab my crayons. You can use crayons. You can use markers. Basically, you can use whatever you have at home. You can even paint it if you want. But keep in mind, I would like to see either warm or cool colors. I think I'm going to choose warm colors. So let's bring down the camera so you can see me in action. Okay? So I'm going to trace around because I like to do that first when I'm coloring. I'm using crayons. See, I'm not perfect. I missed the line. And I have the purple paper underneath so you can see what I'm doing. Otherwise it's white on white and you might not be able to see the edges of my white paper. Okay? Once you have the idea of what to do and you really understand it, you can create more and more patterns on more and more paper because this is really a lot of fun to create these patterns covering the plane. Alright, so I have an orange one. So maybe I'm going to switch my color to this red. Now there's lots of different shades. This is violet red. I don't want violet red. But I don't think I have a choice. I don't have a red. Oh, here we go. Here's my red. So now I'm going to do the next one in red. If I'm only using 2 colors, what do you think the next color is going to be after red? If I'm using red here, and I start it with orange, and I'm making a pattern, and remember, what is a pattern? Pattern is something that's repeating. So I have A, B. If you said A, you're right. Orange, red, orange. Very good. Now if I was using 3 colors, like if I added my yellow, that would be the next one. So that would be my A, B, C, and then this would be A. So what color would A be? Orange. Very good. Patterns repeat. Take your time. Enjoy this. Make me proud. You make me proud every time you do art projects, but this is really fun. And I like that, I'm coming up, you get to make some decisions here. You get to decide, do you want to hold your paper horizontally or do you want to hold your paper vertically? If it was vertically, I may only be able to fit 1 or 2 across. Below, 1, 1, and then half of another one. If I opened this all the way up, I would go straight across, down to the next level, straight across, and continue. I'm giving you the artistic decision to make, however you would like to place your tile over and over. But I would really like to see the results. So if there's any way that you can get your results to me, I would be really happy. So don't forget, who's the master of tessellations? It is MC Escher. How awesome are these? All right, boys and girls, enjoy making this project. Use your colors wisely, warm and cool. Remember to keep that in mind, warm or cool, and create patterns. All right? Okay, then that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this project. Until next week when I meet again with you, have a great week. Have a great day. Stay well. I miss you. I hope you miss me as much as I miss you. And remember, always keep art in your life. You'll always be happy. Alrighty, kids. Bye-bye. Ciao for now. It's Miss Lisa saying, adios, amigos.